Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast for the next week ahead, recorded on Thursday the 9th of October. Certainly plenty of energy around Australia today on the central part of the country and also in the southeast. Thunderstorms, I stripped off the satellite map today because it was kind of distracting from where the actual energy is. So this big thunderstorm outbreak, the northern parts of South Australia, brushing a wee bit into the Northern Territory and Queensland. On the other side of it, coming through New South Wales, we've got areas of rain moving through this morning with some thunderstorm activity coming in, mostly just north of the ACT with a few heavy falls coming through. And then of course those showers will continue to push eastwards as we go through the day, and some of those thunderstorms following on behind it. And then of course the cold front coming down here around Tasmania, the next burst of thunderstorms, showers coming through there. Elsewhere, offshore stuff for the most part, but we do still see a few showers popping up around Queensland this morning and overnight. On the wind energy map, so this is going into the later part of today, we've got this very sort of weak area of low pressure. It's not a proper low, it's a trough. It's a low that's trying to form but not really getting there. But we've got enough energy in here to spark some of those thunderstorms and wet weather that is moving across. So the warm weather is ahead of it, slightly cooler change behind it all as that all moves eastwards. Now you've also got, of course, those storms down over the Southern Ocean, well south of Australia, but they are producing this significant squash zone, and this is significant because Tasmania in particular is going to be exposed to this as we go through today, tonight, but especially tomorrow, Friday, as the worst of those winds cross right over the top of you. Other areas like Kangaroo Island and places like Curry getting some of those windy weather conditions as well, as are some of the coastal parts of Western Australia. Otherwise, the winds really aren't a feature at the moment in many other places. So let's have a look at the forecast. Here we are for Friday, going into the afternoon. Severe weather box around Tasmania due to those severe, potentially damaging west to northwest gales coming through. The polar boundary goes up north of Hobart, hovers around Lonnie. You've got rain all along the west coast and potentially some sleet or snow right at the highest elevations. Jump north of that into Victoria and you're on the outer edges of it. So you might get a couple of coastal showers, maybe one or two over here in the southwest, not much, mostly dry, westerly winds, same for the ACT. But those thunderstorms that we just saw over South Australia should be out here. Places like, maybe Tamworth getting a few thunderstorms around as we go in towards Friday as a result of the unsettled weather that we've got going on. A few isolated thunderstorms and showers bubbling up around Queensland, the Northern Territory, a little bit into Western Australia. Otherwise it is mostly dry with a little bit of high pressure coming into the Great Australian Bight. So the windy weather, here we are, 2 o'clock Friday afternoon Eastern time. The dark shading, the purple shading, 100 to 120 kilometre an hour gusts. The worst of those winds in the very isolated southwest corner, but some of those gusty conditions could affect Hobart and many other areas. So power outage risk is certainly around, chance of trees breaking, branches breaking, that sort of stuff. Now as you come into Victoria, the ACT, New South Wales, through the mountains, you do have some gusty conditions as well, maybe 90, 100k gusts, mostly along right into the mountains and along the eastern side of those. So let's go into the weekend. I know a lot of people are looking at what's happening in New South Wales this weekend. We'll mention that in a moment, but look, showers continue down here around Victoria and Tasmania. The polar boundary moves a little further northward, so pretty much everyone in Tassie on Saturday will feel the temperatures down, and so will you if you live in coastal parts of Victoria and parts of southern or southeastern parts of South Australia. Further northwards, dry in New South Wales by the looks of it. A couple of showers right up here, getting close to Brisbane. And we do see a few showers and thunderstorms developing, more so around the Northern Territory than we see in Queensland, although some of these ones in Queensland may be a bit heavier, but more widespread around parts of the Northern Territory and the northern part here of South Australia. Little bit of spillover into Western Australia, but the reason why I'm not talking about you as much in Perth is because pretty quiet with those high pressure systems out here in the Indian Ocean, so close to you, bringing, mostly dry weather. So we've got high pressure also moving into South Australia. But look at this here on Sunday, the thunderstorm outbreak, the showers that are going to bubble up during the day, and some of them may continue overnight, pushing through parts of South Australia, streaking here into New South Wales. It will spread eastwards towards Bathurst as we go through the day. And around Queensland, we'll be seeing these showers, Northern Territory and up around the Kimberley, seeing the chance of Thunderstorms, potentially severe thunderstorms for those of you further northwards, north of New South Wales mostly. And then again, the polar boundary comes into even the southeast corner of South Australia on Sunday. Victoria feels it, Melbourne feels it, as does Tasmania with those temperatures down still. Southwesterly winds blowing through for you, so it is not a very warm day down here, but very hot if you go further up into Queensland north of that red line. So let's have a quick look at Bathurst. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it is mostly dry with a westerly breeze, but you can see a few showers maybe forming as we go into the afternoon. Jump forward to 5 p.m. and the risk of showers does increase, although it's worth noting the blue here and even the next blue next to it, right at the bottom of the scale. So whether it's just a little bit of light rain, a few spits, or the threat of a bigger downpour that's a bit more isolated, probably won't know that until the day itself. At this stage, not forecasting thunderstorms, but the chance of a couple of showers around. We'll have to keep a very close eye on it. Sorry if you're not into the Bathurst race. That was probably a bit boring. Let's have a look at Monday's forecast. Look at this. Finally, some wet weather coming into places that need it and want it. Thunderstorms around New South Wales, thunderstorms around Queensland and the Northern Territory, especially up here around Darwin. And we've also got some further showers to the south here. By the way, if you noticed on the satellite map at the beginning, didn't mention it, but just remembered it now, it didn't say Darwin, and I have no idea why. Had all the other main centres from each territory and state, but Darwin was left off. So my apologies, I can't change that. It's how the software comes, but you've got some severe thunderstorm risk up there on Monday as we go through the start of next week. And by Tuesday again, still got the chance of severe thunderstorms bubbling up the very northern parts of Australia. And here in Queensland, also a chance of getting some heavier showers and thundery weather. Now I know in the southeast corner here, you want some wet weather. I've been getting lots of messages. Thank you so much yesterday for all your feedback, letting me know which parts of Australia need rain. Farmers and growers telling me slightly different things in different areas. Really appreciate that. So high pressure is coming through here. I don't know why the animation's not working, but this is an easterly breeze snaking along on the northern edges of that high, which means westerly winds continue on around Tassie, but we do see showers all the way down the coastal side of New South Wales. Again, the blue at the lowest end of the scale though, so it may not be overly widespread. As we go into next week, drier weather expands in the southern 2/3, if you like, of Australia. We are still seeing thunderstorms up here around Queensland and other showers and thunderstorms up and towards the tropical areas for you. So that's the reason why you've got some wet weather coming in. And I know for many of you, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Good to get some rain. It may not be enough to really reverse the really significant dry conditions. Our final map, 1 week from today, shows the tropical boundary up here in the red, pink shading, and the polar boundary here to the south. High pressure in between the two, sort of separating them. So there's not a lot of energy going on. The heat dropping back down again into Western Australia, but really the eastern side of it. Northerly winds coming through. These are northerlies. Again, apologies, it's not animating. Having a few tech issues today. But you've got these easterly showers off the Coral Sea coming down as northerlies. So that is a warm day next week. You'll be pleased about that in Tassie. Dry skies, warmer winds, not as much in the way of severe weather. Before I go, the 7-day rainfall map, take a good look at that. It might move around a wee bit, so it's not totally locked in. Some of these downpours are what I like to call hit and miss. You can see them on the maps. You can see fairly good chances of these downpours coming through here and there around the country. But whether or not they shape up exactly like that, you have to wait and see, tracking things over the days ahead. But this is looking pretty certain. The 80 to 100 millimetres over on the west coast, as is much of this dry weather around Western Australia. Thank you again for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with our next update. Sorry we don't have a flight sim flyover today, just too many other things going on. But we'll have that back again next week for you, I'm sure. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, Friday.